on the internet.
I'm waiting for the stream to change.
As
There
am
we are.
I. There
Yes.
we go. Hello. Hi, everyone. There's a couple of seconds of us dancing. Who knows? Thank you very much for waiting with us, everyone. I don't know exactly what was happening there. I'm really hoping that I'm coming through on my end now.
Yes, you are. Yes, you
Yes.
are.
Wonderful. Yeah, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Wouldn't be a Fumble Folk stream without it. Uh, hi, everyone. I'm Ben. This is my wonderful co-host, Doran.
Hello.
Is kawaii as always. Nico Nico ni, all that stuff, glorious stuff from the last round. I took it off you.
Nico, Nico, nee.
Yes, there we go. Disgusting.
I hate it, but I also
Good.
love it.
Yes. So this evening we are making some homebrew monsters. We are going to spend a little bit of time on a regular Google Docs document. This is how I like to go about figuring out the basis for a monster, and then we will probably go into the monster stat block maker and build it out from there. We can do it from that side of things, but I prefer personally to go through how it looks, how it acts, all that kind of stuff first of all, to then figure out exactly how we're going to balance it from there. So, myself personally, I do not have a specific idea this evening, but I believe my co-host does.
Hi. So I have an idea
Okay.
for a power-hungry human who
Okay.
has killed many a monster in his time
Hmm.
and strapped and fused things to his body that makes him a monster himself. It's like mutated his own body. So like he's cut off like a crab hand and like he's sorted it onto his own hand and now he has a crab claw. Something like that is what I had in my head. So like a chimera, but in the base of a human.
So, you
I got
uh,
inspiration from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, where the dragon hunters eat dragons and they become more dragon-like and have dragon powers. That's where I got the idea from. And I found out
cool.
that's my favorite type of monster. I got very enthusiastic about that the other day.
Fair enough. Okay, so uh, cool. So we are trying to make some kind of humanoid chimera. Uh, Funnily enough, that was something that we were discussing for the book, but turns out
Really?
that yes, yes, literally over the weekend. But there we go.
Oh.
uh, I guess we'll make it on stream.
Yes.
Okay, right here. For the sake of it, chimera person. Okay, so they take monster parts and surgically attach them to their bodies. Okay, so these are going to be somewhat high of a CR.
What
I would,
player level? I guess it could be like interchangeable depending on what monster they've killed and surgically
yeah,
implanted.
exactly. So you would have them as a base CR of some above a regular human. So
Yeah,
I
like
would
you can
say,
have like null hands or some shit like that.
yeah.
And then
So I'd put them at probably a base CR of 2,
mm,
and then obviously your variants can then go up higher. So if we're going to do it from the basic, let's make a bare basic one for what monsters they will have killed,
mhm.
because it's all well and good. Yes, Bandit King, we are making monsters, or at least we're going to be trying to.
Making monsters.
Making monsters. Uh,
Monsters.
monsters. So, if we're going for a CR2, do you need me to get up a CR list to help you, Doran, or do you
Yes.
have an idea in mind? Okay.
Yes. I don't know
Okay.
how strong a CR2 is.
Okay. No problem at all. So, CR2s are things like Orc Berserkers, Wormlings, Gargoyles, Ogres. Technically, a priest can be a CR2, which is usually the head of a cult or something like that.
See
Were
that.
rats. Yeah, they're not this level where it's basilisks and minotaurs and all that kind of stuff, but they somewhat reasonable. CRs, what is this sorcery you speak of? uh, yes, a giant snake is a CR2. Technically, it doesn't have a lot of health. 60 health.
It does
No,
have a lot
it's
of
not.
health. 60.
60 is not a lot of health.
What? Well, I guess it is a lot of health, though, isn't it, compared to the armor class? Because isn't the idea for a giant snake it's easy to hit, but it's got a lot of tank hit points to go
Right.
through?
There's a so CR calculator. So this is generally how you figure it out. So you will have one monster at CR2. So if we put a regular sized party at level 3, that is an easy encounter.
Why? Yeah.
If I put that down to level 2s, that's a medium encounter.
Really?
Level 1s, a deadly encounter.
Fucking hell, it's not much in middle ground. Jesus.
No, there never is.
Goes to me
Oh,
to dead.
Bandit King, I always use my CRs. So especially because we try to make things that we can put out there into the world, so we need to make sure that the CRs are correct, so people can actually use them and balance them against their parties. So these aren't things that are just for my tables, even though they will unfortunately get bludgeoned by them more often than not. I mean, you technically use CRs, yes, I know. I technically use CRs as well. But yes, CR2 is the beginning of the monstrous kind of monsters. Essentially, they're beginning to get into the territory that normal guards aren't going to be able to deal with them. It's adventurers and things like that. So you got things like griffins, a mimic, ogre zombies, a polar bear. A polar bear is apparently as dangerous as a Peleosaurus.
I mean, a Parasaurus is just basically a big fish in it.
I mean, pretty much, but I mean, still, I wouldn't discount it.
Fair.
You know, it's also on the same level as a giant elk.
Okay. I'm having ideas.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're not taking the CR2 stuff. We're taking the things below it because we're
Yeah.
going to be cumulatively making it up to a CR2.
Yeah.
So let's find a regular human, which I know where they are. Commoner, 0. If they are going to be hunting things, they are more than likely either going to be a cultist or we could put them and use the drow, or maybe let's take the thug. So we'll say that
Fine.
they start.
Yeah.
They start at a 0.5. Yeah, one is nearly twice as strong red eye, but they've got a much lower AC, and you typically tend to find hellhounds on their own, which is where they get balanced out. So we have 1.5 CR to play around with.
Hmm.
Yep. So we can either take something. We can take something out. Pretty much all of these. We're gonna ignore these because I highly doubt that someone is gonna go up and strap some baboon to themselves.
Oh, I had the idea of like maybe he has a giant frog tongue that they could whip out and lash to people and grapple them.
Okay, so for that, then we're looking for a giant frog or giant toad. So giant crab, giant weasel, giant frog. So 0.25. So cool. We can add that on. So we're starting with thung, giant frog, frog. Can't type today. 0.25. Go. So we've got another 1.25 to play around with. Sarakos, just because you're gonna bolt all these creatures in together, they're not supposed to be playing around with each other, doesn't mean that most people will. Go. So, let's say let's take another one out of the 0.25,
Mm-hmm.
or we can take one out of the 0.5, because, yeah, we ideally need to take something out of here because we can't do a 0.75.
So when you're making monsters, how much is it utility wise? And by utility, I thought of maybe adding bat ears so they have blind sense or some shit like that. But since it's a level 2, they won't be probably dealing with much things that would blind them. How would you
Exactly, yeah.
how do you think about that when it comes to CR?
So CRs typically, when it's low, is just damage or AC. That's
Yeah.
the two defining traits of it.
Hmm.
And then as you get up the higher CRs, that's when you start introducing things like blind sight, innate spell casting, things like that.
Right.
Because obviously you've got it's not just people like yourselves who have played
Hmm.
D&D for God knows how long and have started new characters. It's newbies as well.
Is yeah.
Like they have got to be able to go, I'm going to fight this thing. It may be a giant wolf spider, but they still know what a spider is. You know,
Mm,
it can climb on the ceiling. It has a web attack. It has a bite attack that has poison.
yeah.
You know, it's if I say a flying sword, you know what a flying sword is.
Yes. Sword that flies.
Exactly. If I say what a grimlock, you might not know exactly what that is. But then if I go into it and try to explain it, you will know what a grimlock is because it's not
Hmm.
particularly difficult to figure out.
Yeah.
All of this, all of this stuff down here typically tends to be relatively easy. Obviously, you've got kobolds, but that's just a race.
Yeah.
You have things like the Dark Mantle and the Oozes and the Gnolls, but they are all stuff from other mythologies as well. So things like wargs and all that kind of stuff are from mythologies. And then you start getting into things that have a little bit of chunk.
Animated armor is only a CL1.
It is only a CR1.
Oh, that's so
Yep,
cool.
because it doesn't have weapons.
Ah.
It only has a slam attack. Plus, it
Mm,
is a -5 to intelligence, a -4 to wisdom, and a -5 to charisma.
that's fair. High AC though.
Yeah, very high AC because it's made of armor.
I mean, yeah, it's got basically plate armor.
Yeah, it's literally a walking suit of plate armor. Go away, Sarakos. Don't want you here. I don't. We're not making a walking sword.
Speaking of a walking sword, um, the giant wasp. I think I saw it as.
Let's see. Giant Wasp. Yes, that is a 0.5. So think about it in terms of obviously we've already got something reptilian.
Yeah.
Or at least I think uh, frogs come under the reptilian category. They possibly come under something else, but amphibian,
Amphibian.
amphibian,
That's the one I was
amphibian
thinking of
category.
over the hedge.
Yes. Um, having insects in there as well, you're possibly pushing the body in too many directions.
Hmm.
So you want to try and keep it in a theme, so to speak. More so it's easily identifiable to someone.
I
So
see.
I would say keep it in the amphibian slash mammalian families from now on. Now that we've settled on the frog tongue,
Okay.
that doesn't
Li-
narrow it down at all because you've got wolves and bears and tigers. Oh my!
lizard folk. What do they have?
uh,
It's right under ice method and above mimic.
oh, good spot. Typically, it's only their bite weapon is the thing that you would be able to take off them. They can also hold their breath, but
Yeah. So they don't have like a tail attack then.
no, they don't. Their tails don't have the dexterity to be able to do it.
Well, they have their lassoing tongue at the minute. Would the bite help that? So, like, if they
Uh,
replaced their jaws with lizard man jaws, but then they had the frog tongue.
so my question to you would be, if that was the case, why hasn't evolution gone down that?
What do you mean?
So if it's got the lizard-like jaws, which is more alligator, for the sake of example, big powerful jaws, yeah.
Yeah,
The only lizard that I can think that has that tongue,
it's a frog
no,
gecko.
geckos, things like that. But they have teeth, but they're mostly to trap rather than
Yeah.
to kill. So you could certainly do that, but
Mhm.
it's not so much the teeth that we were doing; it's more the jaw muscles, and
Yeah.
that's a real hard thing to do in surgery. We could do
But
it.
it's magical surgery and it's like
Yeah,
fantasy.
exactly, yeah. Um, Bandit King. So, like, I'm thinking of calling it Nightmares of the Grim Vale. So, twisted and corrupted beings have tainted the world. So, there's a famous fairy tale characters and urban legends being turned evil. Ooh, that sounds cool.
That's very
Uh,
cool.
that sounds a bit like Fables, where the premise of that universe is that the actual fairy tale world is a real world, and because of the constant infighting between all the different fairy tale characters, it has begun to fall apart, and the world was literally coming to an end. So they all escaped out of the fairy tale world into our world, and then ended up having to try and act like humans. So people like the big bad wolf is Bigby Wolf, who is a private detective. Um, you've got people like
Snow White.
Snow White, who
Yes, he's my
is
favorite.
yep. Yes, you know what I'm on about then with the Wolf Among Us. I'm guessing is where you know from. Yes, yes, very similar to Once Upon a Time. Yeah. For anyone who is interested in that kind of stuff, I highly recommend the Fables books. They are phenomenal. Or the game, if you're so interested in. I think that is probably one of the Telltale's best.
Mm,
Before they went pop.
nice.
Yeah, well, it's what happens when you buy up so many licenses and
Don't they
churn
all?
out churn out stuff without improving the engine.
It's true. True. So maybe not
Uh,
lizard folk then.
Maybe not lizard folk, no. So what I tend to do is I
Mhm.
tend to think about it in terms of limbs.
Yeah.
So we've done
Head.
something with the done something with the head,
Hmm.
arms, torso, legs,
How about boar legs?
all legs. Was that as in a boar?
Yeah, boar legs.
Hmm.
Because then they would have a charge attack. If or
So it,
like a
I would say
speed, I guess.
instead of a boar, you would want to take something like a satyr's legs
Yeah. Okay.
or warg's legs, because they're slightly longer. Because a boar is
Yes.
obviously quite relatively
No, I want
short.
a short. Yeah. No. Yes. Yes. Satyr. I meant like the bestial satyr, basically satyr legs
Yes, yeah.
is what I was
Okay.
thinking of.
For the sake of it, let's take the giant goat legs. Why not?
Yeah, goat.
Oh yeah, let's put what we're actually doing for it. Cool. That is 0.25 as well, I believe. It was 5.5. So that puts us up to around 1 for the second. So we can either do more 0.5s or you can go big or go home with a 1.
Mm. What's a death dog?
Death dog? A death dog? Let me show you.
Careful, you type
Is
it.
It's not quite a Cerberus, but it's on its way.
Oh, oh, I love it so much.
This is the kind of death dogs that I've used in the past.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
How have I not known about this?
They are typically loyal pets to liches and things like that. Because they are some of the earliest necromancy experiments that typically tend to take place.
I want one.
But they can also look like this, which
Ah.
yeah, which is a Yeth hound, which is far more terrifying, honestly.
Yeah.
Um,
Blink dog.
and then you've got full on blink dogs. But yeah, death hounds.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
death hounds are pretty great.
so I'm thinking of something that raises its HP up a bit.
Okay, so you want
So I
something
get something for
chunky.
the body.
So if we're doing AC, then we're looking for some kind of scale or something like that.
So I'm thinking more something not AC, but just HP.
Oh,
Because
HP.
I've never been a fan. I'm a fan of things that are easy to hit but have a lot of hit points. Mainly because they make you feel good when you hit, and they don't die as easily.
Yes. I don't know what has the highest the highest HP out of all this. It's not going to be a Quasit, I can tell you that much.
Quasit 7.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the Hippogriff? Hippogriff has got 19. Um, Brown Bear.
Brown bear probably maybe
34. Okay, Brown
34.
Bear 34. Wormlings have got 16. The Druga 26. 39. Okay,
39.
39. Out of everything that could possibly have it, maybe the Giant Octopus. 52.
52. That'd be cool. Then you could have like maybe like a tentacle arm
Um,
that doesn't do
so
anything.
I
It's
w-
just
so
visual.
I so I would say if you wanted to bump health, I would have it as being you're taking the octopus's hearts.
Octopus have multiple hearts.
Octopus have 2 hearts.
Just fucking selfish.
They have 2 hearts, and they're in its head, on either side of its brain, behind its eyes.
Oh wow.
Octopuses are. If they didn't exist on this planet, we would straight up think they were aliens. They are horrendous in
So
terms of their evolutionary tract.
that could be cool because if you get stabbed to the heart, it could still be going. That's pretty fucking cool.
Mhm.
I like the octopus
Cool.
idea, especially with the 2 hearts gimmick. That's very cool.
Giant octopus.
And then you could also have like if someone ever touches this person, they could be all clammy and stuff on their body.
Ugh, ugh,
Exactly. They're not meant to be nice monsters.
yes.
Do they have
Why?
sentience? Do we think? Or are they completely gone mad? Guess how far.
Um.
I guess how far they've been mutated. I guess this guy is mainly okay because he's been dealing with more animals and less, magical
Yeah.
monsters.
Yeah. I would say that they are going to have a drop in their charisma, but with an intimidation probably as either a proficiency or an expertise.
Yeah.
Just because, maybe not an expertise with this guy because it's only he doesn't. Apart from having some goat legs, he's
He's
just
got a
going to
very
look like
long tongue.
he's just going to look like a satyr. He's just going to look like a satyr until he starts doing things.
Yeah.
If you would mind, in the chat, please, Doran.
Oh.
Thank you. Um,
Damn it.
maybe. Let's think.
Damn it, Saragos. Beat me to it.
Thank you, Sarkos. Um, either looking at a hit to the int or a hit to the wisdom. I think taking the hit to wisdom, no, hit to int, and then having the perception be somewhat good because he is technically a hunter and has managed to hunt
It's true.
relatively decent sized creatures.
It's true.
So let's go and
What AC are we up to? Are we up to 2?
we're fully up to 2, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So I use this website called Tetracube.
Ooh,
We are not going to use one of the presets. Restore that to default
monster.
because you can make it very easy for yourself by just say we wanted to redo the death dog. You could just do death dog and then call it goodest boy
He's goodest.
update, and it is now the goodest boy.
Goodest boys. There's 2 heads.
There you
Yes.
go. But yes, we are going to be doing it from scratch today. So restore to default.
Nice.
Cool. So we know this is a medium-sized monster. It is a humanoid, but it is a monstrosity.
Yes.
So that into the monster tag, and probably
Chaotic.
chaotic neutral.
Yeah. It probably won't attack you unless you have a limit once or something. Or unless you provoke it in some way.
Cool. So 5 hit dice is putting it to 22. We want to put it up to around the 50 region. $54. That's good enough. It is going to have.
What's his dexterity?
We'll do that in a second. Natural armor.
Would it have natural armor or would it have leather armor?
Um,
That's why I asked about the dexterity. Because if it has leather armor, then dexterity matters for armor class.
let's leave it as natural armor for the second.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. So, giant octopus, we're going to take its con, so it's got a +1 to its con, so we want to put that to a 13. Because that's typically the easiest way to do this, is literally just steal things from the other stat blocks.
Yes.
We have the giant goat. Giant goat. Giant goat has
Giant
only
goat.
11 in dex, but it does have the boost to its
Jesus.
strength.
Holy
Okay,
wow.
cool. So let's. What else did we choose? We took the frog. So let's have a look at the giant. So we'll put that then 12, and to put it in between, we'll put it to a
Plus 2.
15 for
Yeah.
strength. No, 14 on strength, just to make it on the lower end. Int is going to go down to a 6, so
Sentient.
still sentient, but is beginning to lose its mind.
Yeah.
We'll pull that down to an 8, but with intimidation proficient. The wisdom is a 10, +1 for the goat. Cool. So we'll just leave it as a 10 for the wisdom then,
Mhm.
because that is how it averages out.
Yes.
Cool. So saving throws. Yes, it is going to be proficient in strength saving throws because we've already established that it is a big, strong boy.
Drunken boy.
Technically, he's not going to have, for the sake of it, because goats are pretty good at climbing. I'm going to say that he has 20 feet of climbing speed.
Yes.
Going to leave it at 30 feet just for that. So
Should have
let's.
35 feet maybe.
So yeah, why not? 35 feet.
It doesn't really change too much.
So with the dex, it is putting up to 66. I think that's fine. Let's just put it down a little bit, just so it keeps it in line with the HP that we've seen, because the armor class has got up to 14 with natural, and that is within the CRs.
Mhm.
Cool. So then we need to add Hmm.
It would be attacking with its tongue mainly.
Yes, so we're not going to say there's got any poison or anything like that, just because that's a bit too strong for the level that it's at.
Yeah, so it'd be
Um,
bludgeoning with the tongue.
common speaks, understands common, and then can understand abyssal
Yes.
because you know it's a monster.
Yeah.
CR2, and what was that? Sorry, Doran.
Would a tongue do bludgeoning damage? Is that the?
Bludgeoning damage, yes. I am also going to say that it has an advantage on its athletics checks.
Mm.
Cool. So let's have a see. They have a tongue weapon in here. Sometimes they do. No, they don't. Okay.
I can't
So,
see when you do that. That's weird.
oh, can you not? Okay. So it's a drop-down menu that basically just allows me to put
Oh,
stuff in. So, we'll call it Chimera tongue. Cool. There's a melee weapon attack that is we've got it as a +2. So that would be a +5 to hit.
yes.
Yes, +5 to hit. We're going to say that it has 30 feet of movement, 30 feet of reach, sorry.
How
Because
does it
that
keep
is
it in there?
the same way that what is it? Woodpecker does. Wraps
Mm.
around its brain.
Oh, Jesus. Magical surgery.
Yeah. And we're going to make it a 1d10 plus.
Dexterity grapple check.
Uh,
Strength.
yeah. So
Strength or
the grapple.
dexterity.
So the grapple check would be a separate. So we have actions and then we have abilities. So we're
Ah,
doing the action first, and then we'll do the ability in a second.
okay.
Plus,
It was not a part of the attack.
yeah, correct. So because it might miss with the bludgeoning, but still manage to grab onto someone,
Yeah.
basically. I think that's pretty good. 1d10 plus 2, which will average to 7. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then we go to grapple. No, further up. Grapple. No, cannon.
Grapple.
Grappler. Let's see what that can do. Nope. Pounce. Never remember exactly where they are. Amphibious. This monster can breathe air or water.
I think that's
Yes.
fair.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. We took that from the frog.
Yeah, exactly. Freedom of movement.
It's gonna be stuck at
Grappler.
swimming though, because it has goat legs.
Exactly, yeah. Just because it can breathe down there doesn't mean it's very good at it. um, I'm surprised. I thought there was a grapple preset. Apparently not.
I know, right, Sarah Chris? I'm learning stuff every day. So many horrifying facts about our creatures that live in the world.
Oh god, like weird animal fact for myself: ghost crabs growl using teeth in their stomachs. Yes, they do. To be along the same track, the uh, what was the name of it? Is it it's like a crayfish, I think it is. It's the kind of technicolor ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they don't snap with their claws. They punch and they move. They punch with their claws so fast
Yeah.
that they have been documented to break the sound barrier as they do so.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love those animals so much. Yeah. I watched a movie about uh where people take pills and they give them superpowers based on animals, and the main
Mhm.
character has a power of a crayfish, and he just punches and it turns everything into basically like molten iron
Mhm.
because he punches so hot as
Yeah,
well.
literally
Very
creates
cool.
sparks. Mantis shrimp. Thank you, Saragos.
Thank you.
I knew it was something. I knew it was a shrimpy, crayfishy kind of thing, but I couldn't remember
Yeah,
exactly what it was.
neither could I, but I understood.
Yes. Um. Yeah, I've got loads of weird animal facts that I could repeat that stuff for days. Um. Um. Yeah. What do you want to call this thing?
Good question.
Spend some time thinking about it.
Okay.
'Cause we'll so that. Doo-doo. Yes. So, what do you want to call it?
I can't. My immediate thought was a chimera hunter, but I don't know. It feels too basic, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'll do for now.
Yeah.
So we got something there.
I want to do something hunter.
Cool. So let's update that. So at the very least, we're starting to get somewhere. So if we call it a Chimera Hunter, there we go. So it's a medium monstrosity monster, chaotic neutral, 14 armor class, 55 hit points with a D10, 10d8 plus 10. So it could technically be higher. It could be 890 in total health if you really wanted it to be.
Mm.
Strength saving throws +4, athletics checks plus intimidation checks because it's not amazing at it, but we're going to say that it has some intimidation because it's weird looking. Uh,
Very weird
uh,
looking.
passive perception of 10 because it hasn't done anything specifically for its eyes. Understands abyssal and common, so we're good. Again, it should be able to speak common. I don't know why it hasn't. Speaks common.
Nice.
There we go. Challenge rating of 2. Amphibious, grappler, and then that. We can update the tongue grapple thing, just make it easier. Creature, ashes, its tongue. Could never spell tongue correctly the first time. Can make a grapple check. See ability. Which is generally how they do it.
Mm.
Don't need to double it up, but fill the words out a little bit.
Yes.
Cool. So are we probably then we want to just give it an unarmed attack? Just a regular unarmed attack.
Maybe a knife.
A
Hunting
knife? Dagger?
dagger. Yeah.
Yeah. It's better with strength, so then let's use strength. So it's a +5 to hit. And on my numlock. We're gonna get rid of the range because we don't really want it doing that. Then yeah. Oh no. +2. Add action. Move it that above.
When do
Tongue grapple.
monsters start getting multi-attack?
Typically, from what I've seen, CR3s and above. But let's have a quick look. Something that I know has multi-attack. There you go. So Lizard Folk has multi-attack at CR2.
Mm.
Oh no, it's 0.5. Hmm? I think that's because they have their sentience, though. Basically, Cockatrice, Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin definitely would. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. So I'm gonna say for the sake of it, it is fairly low, but it seems to be unique by the looks of it. Oh look, a riding horse, just as dangerous as a drow.
I mean, have you ever get kicked by a horse?
No, well, thankfully I've never been kicked by a horse.
Same, but it looks like badness.
Yes, it does seem like it would be a bad time. But yes, Chimera Hunter. That's a CR2. So we can save that block, and then if you want, we can bump up to a CR5 and do the same, and then so we can make 3 variants. So we can have the basic bitch who's just got into it, and he's like, I have a tongue, well. And then you could have the intermediate who's like, nah, I want all this crazy shit, and then you could have the guy who's literally out of his mind with bullshit attached to him.
Yeah.
So let's view image, which for some reason saves the image. And let's go back. Cool. So we have done that. So for the sake of it, let's say that we're going to stick with the thug. Just for the sake of it, just because it makes life easier.
Thuggy boy.
Cool. So we are want to go up to CR5, or do you want to go up to CR6?
Is that a big jump? What level would you fight? CR6.
CR6. Level 5 makes it a medium fight. Level 4 is a deadly fight.
Jesus. Again.
Oh god, yeah, there's no in betweens. It's either comfortable or it's gonna murder you.
So it's CR5, then you fight. You fight at level 5.
Yeah, typically,
Okay.
yeah. You fight at level 5 with it being a regular monster that you come across. If you're wanting to use it as a boss enemy, then you have it at CR encounter at level 4.
Yeah. Because then it has
Yes. So, what do you want it to be?
CR6.
CR6. Cool. So we have 5.5 to play around with. So let's stick with the same restrictions that we had. Head, chest, or what's in the chest. Arms and legs.
What's
Maybe you can bolt the tail on or wings or whatever, but
an extra attachment? Yeah.
Again, because they are bolted on, they might not work quite as good as the regular ones, but we'll figure out as we go along. So
the not final form of this guy.
yeah. So if we're going to 5, you're probably going to want to go maximum of 3 because I highly doubt you're going to If you're going up here, you might as well just use one of these things. So let's go to
What
3. Yeah.
what is the lore about blink dogs?
Blink
How do they
dogs are
teleport?
they're from a different plane of existence.
Is that the only reason?
Yes, it's something they can innately do. It's not an organ or something like that. It's not even a spell. They just do it.
Yeah.
It's why blink dogs when they're puppies literally just blink 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 blink
So
because it's just a thing they do. So yeah, if we are starting in CR3 and I read them out for the sake of the chat, you have things like a basilisk, a bearded demon, blue dragon wormling, a doppelganger, which we definitely wouldn't be able to do anything with because they are intentionally not supposed to be that kind of thing.
yes.
But I'll get into a doppelganger in a second, or a Doppler if anybody's been watching Witcher again recently. Giant scorpion, gold dragon wormling, a green hag, a hellhound, a killer whale, a knight, just a General Joe Blogs knight, manticore, minotaur, mummy, a nightmare, owlbear, phase spider, a veteran, which is a soldier veteran usually, a werewolf, a white or a winter wolf.
We fought a space spiders the other week.
We did.
I'm immediately drawn to a giant scorpion and obviously the tail attachment.
Okay, that's fine. So let's see exactly what that has for it.
I
So,
will take a quick break because my water fountain is googling because it's not got enough water in it.
okay, bear with us just a second then, everyone. Let us just go for a quick break. Catch you in a second, everyone. Hello again, everyone. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for us having a little break. We needed to refill the hydration stations because it is important to stay hydrated. For those of you who are just joining us, we are making monsters this evening. We have previously made what we're referring to as a Chimera Hunter, but I believe Doran has come up with a new term for it, which was
Spliced hunter.
Spliced Hunter. So we are going to go with making the slightly stronger version, Spliced Hunter Veteran. So the first thing that we've established is that we're always going to be taking the thugs. So let's go
Base humanoid. Thug.
Spliced Hunter / Veteran. We'll get to the last one. Again, I have an idea for it.
I'm excited.
Cool. So we're up to 3.5 in terms of our CR. We have 1.5 left to go. For it, I have taken the sting from it directly, and I have modified it a little bit. So I have, as the +4, which is the same, taken the hit or the damage for it a little bit down, not by much, but just a little bit. And then I have halved the poison, just because it makes sense that they have it, because we're giving them multiple other kinds of attacks, because these ones are probably going to have held onto a weapon of some kind.
Yeah, their poison glands are not as efficient.
Exactly, yes. It's something that they've chucked next to their spleen. It's not something that was meant to be there. So we've got that one. So we need to immediately go back down to the ones because we can't fit anything else in there. So you can either have 1s, 0.5s, 2.5s, or 1/8 if you would like. But honestly, more than likely you're going to want to be up here because that's where all the fun stuff is. So how are you envisaging this person? So obviously they've got their tail that
I was
comes
envisioning
out.
this person out of a butch humanoid with a scorpion tail, some kind of antlers or like big horns,
Okay.
and maybe like 2 extra arms.
Okay. Cool. That's why I like the extra arms thing. Um, Bugbear.
Bugbear could be cool.
So, but have their regular arms and then bugbear arms here,
Yeah.
which are extra long.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's give them some bugbear arms. Again, these things are monstrously disgusting,
Yes.
and I kind of love them for it.
Why? Why have you done this? How did you? Jesus.
Cool. So we definitely need to give them multi-attack because obviously they've got 2 sets of arms and this stinger now.
Yes.
So let's
So maybe the 2 sets of
find-
arm give them multi-attack.
Yeah. Let's check multi-attack in there. The spliced veteran makes 2 melee weapon attacks. So we got to specify that. Multi-attack always goes at the top.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a prerequisite. Don't know why they've made a point of it, but it always goes at the top.
I mean, because it's like, okay, you can do 2 attacks. You can do 2 of these attacks. It's not like
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
you want to see
So,
that first.
so you can either have a 0.5 or you could have 2.5s or technically 3 of these. But again, I really don't think there's much out down here you want. Because, the flying snake wings aren't going to lift you off the ground.
I still want them anyway. Just the little wings. Or you can have them at the ankles.
No,
Maybe
he's not Hermes.
have them at like as like maybe like a feather fall type thing instead of a fly. But I don't think
I think that thing would break its ankles no matter how much it tried.
it's true. We've added a lot of extra weight.
Yeah, exactly. 2 bugbear arms for a start.
Axe beak.
Yes. I'll show you an axe beak.
The fuck is an axe beak? I assume it's a bird thing with an axe on its face. It's a bird thing with an axe on its face.
Yes. It's basically a chocobo.
Ah! It's so good.
Literally, you ride them around.
That's so good.
They're like steeds, but with a beak.
Sick. Okay, so
So
with the bugbear arms, is that an attachment to the arms or an attachment to the body? I would say it's extra
it's an
arms.
attachment. It's extra arms, yes.
So I would say it's an attachment to the arms.
I would say it's an attachment to the body because you're having to attach nervous systems, blood vessels, oxygen.
Right, so then we have still a space for the arms then.
Yes.
Oh
'Cause
fuck.
what are you
No,
thinking?
no. I'll save that for the next one.
Oh God.
That's a good idea. I don't want to waste
Uh,
it on a CS6.
Again, we also have the point five. So if you wanted to, we could start going into looking at things like
No, that's also a good one. How about a... No. I feel like we have so many damaging ones.
I mean, most monsters, when you come to this kind of stuff, is damaging ones, and then you build them outwards from the stuff that they would have naturally because they can do that stuff.
Like maybe like they've cut off one of their hands and added like a giant wasp stinger to it. So like shink shink. I don't know. It comes in and out. Like kind of like Wolverine or...
Yeah, you could totally do that. It's the thing that makes me curious is how the hell they're gonna grow it. Because a wasp stinger comes out and then it regrows.
Does it regrow? I thought they just keep it. Because I thought a bee, they
Oh yeah,
sting,
the
if
bee
they
the bee
lose.
comes out and it dies because it rips its own stomach out. Yeah,
Yeah, but the wasp keeps it.
yeah. The wasp keeps it. You're right. Any
But
advice on making really scary looking and statted monsters? Okay. So, um, if you don't mind me asking, Gabby, what is the level of your party? That's probably the best place to start.
and also like, what is the environment? Is it a fantasy?
Correct.
Is it a sci-fi?
Because what I define as horror might be different to what you define as horror. So for some people, body horror stuff and things like that is the height of terror, which, as me and Doran were speaking about last week off stream, you have people like this,
I'm not sure that I
who
have one too. Hold on.
Jinji Ito, which is body horror but also psychological horror. Yes, Uzumaki, which is for anyone who likes graphic novels, it's one of the best manga ever written.
It's fucked up. Be warned.
It is very messed up, but again, it's a horror. It's a horror manga, so it is correct in terms of what we're doing.
It's
But I also have things like Altered Carbon, which is a sci-fi book. Um, it's a cyberpunk sci-fi book where the concept is that when they went to Mars, they found technology, and the only technology they could reverse engineer was what was called a disk, which was something that they would place into your spine that holds onto all of your genetic memory. And if you took it out and put it into a new body, you're the same person. Which, imagine the existential dread that creates when you have corporal megalo elites who can just clone their bodies, and then you have people who, if they can't afford real bodies, get put into crappy little synthoids that don't have the sense of taste or feel or the ability to sleep.
But yeah, exactly what the sentient being known as Fumble folks said. Underdark is very good because you have a lot of very specific monsters living in the Underdark, like very
Yes,
milky-eyed, snow sun fueled beings
yes,
that
yes,
are just like, think of like Golem but in like a horror movie.
yes. So with Underdark stuff, you have two ways that you can really go about it. Typically, what the best way to do it, at least for me, or how I like to do it, is we haven't discussed it on stream yet, um, but in my version of the Underdark, there is a very, very large pale creature. Um, it is probably about 30 feet in height. Yeah, he a big boy,
You big boy.
that has 4 arms and 4 legs, and literally crawls and pulls its way through things. So
Huh?
so it has arms that go down this way and then arms that go that way.
No. No.
Much the same with its legs, and it can turn its head 360 degrees.
Yeah, do that one.
Yeah, so it depends, honestly, on what you want to do. Is you want to find something that you know your players will be scared of, and then take it back just a little so it's not going to terrify them.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between being scary and being horrifying.
Uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly. So it's much the same as the conversations you have at the rules of your table of no-go conversations and things like that. It's very much knowing your party. So if you don't mind me asking, then what kind of campaign are you going for? Because I really love this stuff. I love talking about this stuff and getting other people's points of views as to how you do it. So the
Because
more information you can give us, Gabby, the better we can do it.
because Ben, you didn't know this. One of my very specific fears is things coming like out of holes and like crawling on the walls and like ceilings and shit. Like kind of how like just I guess a spider nest works where they just crawl over everywhere out of the holes. Instead of coming out like normally, they I don't know why. That just
Yeah.
goes under my skin.
Yeah, I extrapolated it from something that I saw a very long time ago, and I was like, what about the idea of something that basically climbs on walls,
Yeah.
but not because it's got like little grippy, hairy things. It just drives its fingers into the soil and just pulls itself along.
Yeah, just like shink.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's a CR-15 monster. The intention is that when you find
It's
when you
30
encounter
feet
it,
tall.
yes, it has very low AC and not all that much health, but it does a shit ton of damage and it's very fast.
It's like a it's like a
but
30 foot tall spider.
but it's blind.
Oh no, it has blind sense. That's
It
even
does not
worse.
it does not have blind sense.
Oh, what does it do? How? What?
Hearing. It
Is it just
only hearing.
so it constantly has disadvantage on attacks?
Correct.
Oh, that's a very good way to nerf slash weaken a monster that has very high damage. That's
Yeah.
very smart. Good job.
Thank you. It has no eyes.
That's somehow worse.
Yeah.
I'd rather have eyes and just be blinded.
Yep.
Oh,
No, it's just smooth skin here.
that's fucking horrifying.
I
Why?
know. It's
What?
great. I'm
Why?
very I'm very much looking forward to getting someone to draw it.
No. Don't bring that into reality.
You don't have a choice.
I wish I did.
I already have some fun encounters I based on some fun movies and video games. Hound Eyes from Half-Life 1, Graboids from Tremors, and thinking about fast head crabs from Half-Life 2. So are you thinking of taking it down? I can never remember the name of the fast zombies are always terrifying. So here's a hint for zombies. When you introduce zombies, have them be a surprise. People aren't inherently scared of zombies anymore because zombie media is
Washed about.
absolutely profuse. It is everywhere.
Yeah, it's washed about and diluted it quite heavily.
So have your zombies, if they're going to be fast zombies, have them be less like zombies and more like I Am Legend mutated creatures.
I've
Of
only time I've ever had a nightmare was from I Am Legend.
yeah, because it's a zombie film, quote unquote, but they're not zombies. They have hard restrictions of daylight. They have apparently the ability for empathy,
They're kind of
which
like vampire zombies.
yes, it's actually more of an allegory for Morlocks in the Time Traveler, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
But yes, so think about giving you hard limits and rule sets that your players can click onto. So, for example, when the last time that I used zombies was in a semi post-apocalyptic modern setting where the party was going into a apartment complex looking for a lost little girl in some ruins. They found a room that they could crack the door open a little bit and they could just see a crying girl sitting on a bed. They proceeded to, without even thinking about it, despite the fact that I had made a point of them when they were walking up the stairs going creak, 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 because for some reason they didn't click on that this was going to be a horror segment in an action game. They burst down the door, and the little girl turned and immediately was basically a witch from Left 4 Dead. She
Oh,
screamed at the top of her lungs, which brought all of the other rooms that were sealed shut suddenly banging very heavily because the rest of the rooms were full of zombie hordes. So it then became a matter of them running, trying to get to their vehicle to leave. So it was a chase sequence because they ended up having more zombies than they could actually fight. Zombies are a useful tool to scare the living daylights out of people if you make them a horde. A single zombie is just, oh yeah, it's a zombie.
Mm,
They're not scary anymore,
they're not.
unfortunately. Yes, head crab zombies have got. So the reason the head crab zombies are still creepy is because the head crabs have latched onto the brain of the human, and part of where the teeth have gone in is stimulating the vocal receptors, and the body is still alive. So it is, they are screaming, help me, kill me. That's some existential dread shit.
Horrifying.
Of not being able to control your body, but feeling yourself being slowly digested.
But also saying the Half-Life thing. You could always have I can't remember what they're fucking called. The the things that latch onto the ceilings that have the tongue that come down.
Oh, I always just call them graboids.
Because the Underdark
uh,
has the Underdark has a ceiling, so you might have some of them on the top of the ceiling, trying to grab something that walks into the things and sucking them up.
yeah, yeah, cool. And that's a natural trap that you can have.
Yeah.
Gabby, if you were to do it, what I would say, oh, on the ceiling. So I wouldn't make them zombies then. They are closer to, again, much like we said, of the I Am Legend vampire things.
You could have like a zombie drider.
Oh, barnacles. Yes, that's the term. We'll just call them
Barnacles, yeah.
barnacles. Hmm. So if they hang out on the ceiling, might I make the suggestion that you make them a hive mind?
Oh.
So they can have the regular zombie stat block, but the second one knows that you're here, they all know you're here.
Yeah.
That way they are relatively squishy. You can take out one with next to no problem. But much like a drone from a beehive or whatever, they immediately know what is happening with everything else.
Yeah, and they're just crawling out of holes, blocking off your escape
Yeah,
exits because they all know where you're going and where you are,
exactly.
completely surrounding you.
Low CR creatures are very good for
Overwhelming.
overwhelming, yes, set piece monsters.
And also, the strongest thing in D&D tactic-wise is controlling the battle economy and controlling
Correct.
the turn economy. So if you have more turns, you're innately just stronger.
Yes, exactly. They get above the party and then they drop down on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
But I would also have
Fl-
a thing of making sure dust is falling down, so the party are not just being
yeah,
completely surprised and being dicked out of or cheated, I guess, without having a chance to notice them.
yes, so that's a very good way of doing it. I would have their AC somewhere around 10, which is an average AC, or literally, if I go on to here, when it's unarmored with no dex bonus, it's 10 AC, and then 1 hit point. That's fine. But what you need to think about if you're giving them 1 HP is that you're trying to tell your party that this is a set of creatures to run away from, because you've got 3 people. Even if you have a fighter with action surge,
1, 2, 3.
yeah,
You can kill 3.
possibly 5 maximum in a round. If they've got something like fireball, maybe, but the action economy will ruin them. So what you wanted to do is have, yeah, something like a witch. Yeah. So you either want to have something that is controlling them, So they are a nuisance to get through to take out the main problem, or you want to have a hard and fast rule of how to be able to get away from them. So much like the creature that I was just mentioning, the reason that I made it blind is that even though it's massive, if you can stealth, get away a certain distance away from it and stealth, you should be good to get away from it.
Or just cast Pass Without a Trace, and then your
Or
footsteps
cast
don't
Pass
make
Without
sounds.
Trace. Exactly, yes. Whereas if you cast Invisibility, it's not going to do much because it doesn't rely on that kind of
Literally
stuff.
nothing.
Bloodhunter, Druid, Bard, Sorcerer. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend making this a combat encounter. I would recommend making it the first one a teaching encounter. So with
A
this kind
Bloodhunter
of
Druid sounds cool, by the way. Sorry, carry on.
oh no, Bloodhunter and then a druid, they're not the same character.
Oh, okay.
That does sound cool, mind. um have their first encounter with these things be something that they see from a distance or something that they overhear another party talking about or something they're warned about, but have it be either in passing conversation or something that is brought up 4 or 5 sessions prior to it.
Something I can have in the back of their brain.
Exactly. It's something to teach them about the world rather than giving the information as they come upon the encounter and then they immediately forget it for the next time they should possibly encounter it. These are the kind of situations where if you've got a blood hunter, for example, that I'm going to presume that I'm presuming the blood hunter is possibly the tactician of the party. I'm making an educated guess. I could be
And
completely
tank.
wrong. The druid would be the tank.
Depending if they use their wild chips to tank.
Uh, Generally, because the blood hunter is going to be cutting itself, it's more of
Yes.
a it's more DPS than
But
tank.
usually when you're a blood hunter, you usually go on not charisma, what's it called?
Con.
Constitution. You usually have a high con, so you have a lot of hit points.
Yeah,
So you're cutting yourself, but you usually
yeah,
have the biggest hit point pool.
yeah. Well, in theory, you should.
Yeah, theory.
um, yeah. Obviously, your bard sorcerer with the meh spells sounds like the RP character rather than the combat character. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a way of thinking of it is trying to think if there's ways that an RP centered character could get out of the situation. Because there's things like major illusion or minor illusion or things like that, or if they have Thunderwave, for example, or Thunder Step. Those spells don't inherently sound all that useful, but if they were to say try and find a small cavern area where they funnel them all into, let their friends go much further forward, then Thunder Step forward, causing that area to cave in, that could be really cool.
Yeah.
It's not inherently doing damage to the monsters, but it's cutting off their route to them. Things like that. I mean, one of the examples that I've been using recently is yours, Doran. Were you a Psy warrior
Yeah.
when you Psy blasted the stones out of the way? I didn't think about that when I was designing the map,
Hmm.
but then you put it down, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a really cool idea. Like it's cutting off half of the dungeon that I've given you.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It was a really cool moment. It's like, yeah, you can do that. Why would you not be able to do it? Rule of cool applies. You
Yeah.
know, rule
Time
of
limits, man.
cool. Yeah, rule of cool is the point of the game. It's for you to have fun and for me to have fun, and that made it a lot of fun. I mean, I got to mess with you in an entire session before that because you couldn't figure out how to do the web trap. Which,
So
oh, I'm very proud of that trap.
it was a very good trap. It was just
Eh,
it's the type of thing at the end of it, you're like, "Oh, I'm so stupid." It's a trap that makes you feel bad more than actually hurts you.
yeah, exactly. It was just to be an annoyance more than anything else.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about me by now, I like being an annoyance.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you got anything to add, Doran, to that?
I like the idea of, like, having things that crawl on the ceiling like head crabs, and they just fall down from the ceiling, like, in immense proportion, having a hive mind of them, and you could just be like, "Kill, kill, kill," and then there's still, like, 50 more coming towards you, because you can just overwhelm the person. So that's, in itself, is a terrifying thing, even though the monster itself on its own isn't scary. The situation surrounding the monster is terrifying. But I also like the idea of, if they do get on the player, instead of like doing damage, they more attempt to control the player, which is scary
Yes,
in
which
itself, because you're losing control of your body, which is
yes,
innately terrifying.
existential dread.
Yeah.
Which is why, like I said when we said at the beginning, there's multiple kinds of horror.
I would also, if you're doing something like that, also make a rule of, maybe, if to stop it, another party member either has to hit the player to kill the head crab on top of it, or like they try and pull it off themselves, but do damage to themselves. That's how they do hit damage, as in like another player has to hit them, or they have to rip it off their head, something like that. Maybe.
So yeah, and another thing to add into that, just because, and this is a pure flavor thing. If they get something like that and the head crab sits in and it really sinks in and then they get it off, maybe tell your players after they've gone through the adventure and they've had their long rests for a little while, tell them that the wounds turn into scars, not just disappear.
Yeah.
It's long-term storytelling of this happened, it was horrifying, you managed to survive it, but you've always got this one indentation on the side of your cheek where it
Or a crown.
managed, or a crown
Teeth.
of dents,
Oh, say it again, Ben.
a crown of dents or something like that.
Yeah. A crown of dents. Now that seems like a cool fucking magic item.
we'll we'll think about that next week. But yeah, that's how I would do it, Gabby. I hope that helped. Um, where I'm still relatively new to horror DMing. I just like horror monsters. uh, but yeah, yeah. So sorry, we got a little
Yes.
distracted with that.
The thing we were doing.
Yeah, back to the thing we were doing.
uh,
Um,
yeah, so torso, not arms.
yeah. So yeah, we can also do a torso stuff. That's fine. Oh yes, we were doing the giant wasp, weren't we?
Yeah, so
Uh,
maybe instead of having like a
giant.
sword weapon, they have just these stingers that they can just like slash and stab with.
Yep, makes sense.
So they can make their double weapon attack with their stingers
And
instead.
oh, so you want to have two of them? Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
so
problem.
like they have one on each arm, or like maybe four, but one on each set of arms or something.
So if we were to give him four, it would be above our CR stipulation that we've set ourselves.
Okay.
So we can give him two and then just like grabby hands.
Grabby hand. It's like just the long arms grab you and they just stab the shit out of you.
Well, literally stab, stab, sting.
Yeah. That's cool, yeah. Forgot about
Cool.
the scorpion tail.
Yeah. So let's build this out then. So
Is that
this
is that
one's
our level 6?
yeah. So we're going to the level 6 one now. So
It's all the
doesn't
pieces.
have the full speed that the other one does, and it doesn't have the climbing speed,
Nope.
and doesn't have the swimming speed.
No.
So
Did the other one even have a swimming speed?
no, we didn't get we
Because
gave
it's
it a
shit. They had
yeah, yeah. Technically, we should have given it negative swimming speed, but we can't.
As soon as it gets in water, it would drown, but it just stuck there.
Yeah, pretty much. Cool. Strength is going to be a +2 then, by the looks of it. So we'll put that to the 15 like they've got it. Dex +2, +2, +1, so +2 again. Whoop. Con 10 plus 1 plus 2. So we'll put it to a +1. Int
Yeah, it's got like
negative
two sets of arms, like
-5,
Goro.
-1. Okay, so we're gonna leave the int where it is, just because they're already pretty dumb. Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. Wisdom can stay as it is. Charisma, charisma, charisma. Charisma's actually slightly worse again, but we'll leave it again as it is. This one I'm gonna say doesn't have the proficiency. It's gonna have an expertise in it because it is fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't changed anything to do with his mouth, so it can still speak. This is going to be a C of 6. I moved it to leather armor because
Okay.
it's slightly bigger, and it hasn't done that all that much to its chest, so it can technically still have leather armor.
Should it be a large size creature?
No. Yeah, it still technically counts as a medium-sized creature.
Okay.
The next one, because the amount of crap that we're going to be putting on it, would, but
Yeah.
the tail counts within the 5-foot space, so that counts as a medium-sized creature.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I'm just making sure. So we need the AC hasn't gone up, so we need to bump the 52, 27, 30. Let's put that to 12. I think. I think that's to 66. 71. I think that's a bit better.
What
71.
was the AC of our last one?
Last AC was 14, I believe. Let's have a check. See. Yeah, natural armor bonus 14. So 15. There we go. We'll keep it as the natural armors. And it's
Could we bump it up by to have it 16 instead?
if we put it up to 16, we'd have to drop the health a little bit.
Okay.
Because you either have one be quite high or the other be quite high. You don't typically have both.
Okay.
Because otherwise it becomes incredibly difficult to hit and an absolute damage sponge.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Cool. So we've got multi-attack, we got sting. Let's add in. Do you want this thing to have a legendary action or a feat of some kind?
Hmm. Or a feat of some kind. To be a dick, you could have the dual wielder feat.
One kind of feat. There's monster feats and then there's player character feats.
Yeah.
So this is a plus again. No, +5. Yeah, I think that's good. Oh no, we need to rename it from rapier. Stingers.
Hardened Stinger's reach need to be 10 feet.
What's that? Sorry.
Hardened Stinger's reach needs to be 10 feet.
So that's the same reach that it has as the giant scorpion. 5 feet.
Yeah, but it's got bugbear arms, which makes it an extra 5 feet.
Oh,
It's
the
got
hand
long.
stingers. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, the hand stingers. The hardened stingers. Because it's got the
Oh
bugbear
yeah,
arms.
hardened stingers is better.
What did you say? What was yours? My dyslexia made what you said hardened. I don't know what you had.
I had it as hand stingers.
Oh,
Hardened stingers is much better.
thank you, dyslexia.
Cool. Let's put that on there then.
Would the stingers have any poison damage?
Let's leave it just on the tail because otherwise it very quickly will become a fucking monster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the tail
So
has poison. Right. Okay. Cool.
yeah,
Never mind.
cool. So let's have a look down this. So we could have something
Again, we
like
can't see what you're doing here.
okay.
Just
Yes, that's fine. So I'll read them out. So things like aggressive can move up to its speed towards a hostile creature that it can see on as a bonus action. Sorry, I'm just gonna quickly scan these and I'll read out the ones that I think are interesting.
yes, yes.
Do, 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 do. Evade. If the monster is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, the monster instead takes no damage if it succeeds, and only half if it fails. We haven't done anything with the legs, so that doesn't quite make sense, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's a shame because I really like that.
Very top heavy.
Yes. Rampage.
Maybe having a rampage sounds fucking cool.
Yeah, Rampage is amazing. It's so overpowered.
What does it do?
When the monster reduces a creature to 0 hit points with a melee attack on its turn, the monster can take its bonus action to move up to half its speed and make another attack.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, cool. We'll go with that then. So it's the what did we call it? Oh, dearie me.
Nice hunter veteran.
Spliced Hunter Veteran. Thank you very much.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Sure. How dare you say these things are mouthful when I can barely speak them myself? Poison sting attack.
So can monsters use bonus actions?
Yes.
Can they use offhanded attacks?
No.
Okay.
That's
Because
what they have.
otherwise you can be like
That's what
sting,
they.
punch, punch.
No, it's what they have multi-attack for. So you can either have a multi-attack that does 2 or multi-attack that does 3.
Right.
Its bonus actions are only if they are stated to be bonus actions, like the rampage thing.
So could it do a stinger attack and then a hardened stinger attack?
Yeah. So you could, yeah, because they both count as melee things. So
Yeah.
because we put them both as melee weapons, so you could do a stinger and a hardened stinger.
Cool. That's probably how you want to do it because the stinger does more damage.
We also need to put grappled on there.
You'd also need to put an extra +1 to hit on its poison stinger.
Why?
Because it's +4 to hit instead of +5.
Oh yes, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Because I was like, why would there be any reason why not to use the poison stinger? It's harder to hit.
Add ability. Change that to 5. Add action. Updated. Cool. Update stat block. We'll put that as 2
Nice.
columns because it's fairly big.
I love 2 columns. It makes you feel intimidated.
Yes, because it's like, oh god, this thing's got so much.
Yeah.
So, a spliced hunter veteran, medium monstrosity, monster, chaotic neutral, 15 armor class with 71 hit points, but a possible total of 80, 88, 96, 117 hit points at maximum.
Pretty good.
30 feet of movement, 15 strength, 14 dex, 13 con, dumb, not
Dumb.
okay, can't speak.
Can't
Saving throws, STR 5, athletics 5, intimidation +4. Starting to get up there because this thing is horrifying.
It's got 2 arms. It's got spikes growing out of it.
It's got 4
terrifying.
arms.
Yeah.
4 arms and a scorpion tail.
But other than that, he's a regular dude. No.
Exactly. Challenge rating 6. Understands Abyssal and can speak Common. Rampage. When the Spliced Hunter veteran reduces a creature to 0 with its melee attack, the Spliced Hunter veteran can take a bonus action. That should be it can. Why has it done that twice? Oh yeah, it's putting it in there automatically. It can. There we go. That reads better. The it. Why? God damn you. English.
Remember, kids, punctuation makes a scary monster.
Yes. It can take a bonus action to move up to up to half its speed and make a poison sting attack. Grappler. The Splice Hunter veteran has advantage on attack rolls against any creature grappled by it. So we're not saying that it has advantage to grapple, but once the things are grappled, because it has an additional set of arms, it's horrifying to try and get out of because it's just gonna
Just wants to hug.
spike the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Cool. So that is we're gonna take that image as well because again, that's a very good monster. I'm gonna use it at some point. Enjoy that, Doran.
Thank you.
Enjoy being murdered by your own creations.
I've been attacked by my own before. It's fine.
And let's do our last. So,
Okay. I had an idea for this one.
yes, I thought you did. So let's go here. So let's go to a CR12. Nice and chunky.
Nice and chunky ball.
So we have 11.5 to play with. So I would say probably up to a 6, maybe a 7.
Can you look at Hellhound for me for a second?
I can look at Hellhound for you.
That's Fire Elemental, but you know.
Yes,
that
I
also
pressed Control F, and for some reason it clicked on it.
See, that's so weird.
Hellhound. Pack Tactics, Keen Hearing and Smell, Fire Breath Weapon, and Bite.
Does anything have a Fire Breath weapon that's not a dragon?
Most fire-based demons do.
Because what I had in mind for a hand upgrade is replace his hand with a head of a monster that it uses to breathe fire with.
I mean,
It's fucked up that it's a dog.
I mean, it's a fiend. It's not really a dog.
I mean, it looks like a dog.
Yes, it looks like a dog. Not necessarily fire, but poison. Poison is far more common for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's also like, no. I don't feel threatened by poison.
Red Dragon Wormling. So
You
you could replace the arm with literally a red dragon wormling that is.
Isn't that just? Yeah, Red Dragon Wormling is just a dragon, right? It's a small dragon.
I'll show you now. Because wormlings are very different.
Are they?
Yes. That for some reason is showing red dragon wormlings. Okay, so a worm, in terms of dragons, is like that. It's supposed to be like that. So you have
cool.
so it's like a snake, but with think Jormungandr from Norse mythology. Or
great pronunciation, by the way.
Thank you.
So yeah.
That. So we instead of it being a red dragon wormling, we would just make a red wormling. But
so like it have its head like spliced to its arm, and then
no, I'm literally cut the arm off, cut the end of the tail off, and literally like build it in and have it as an arm.
Fuck
instead.
Yes. Fuck yes.
Uh,
And it has just a noodle arm. That's way more meta.
yeah. Red Wormling CR. Or CR this is. CR4? Fire. Breath. Weapon. For the sake of it, I'm not going to take the bite from it, just because it technically can, but we're going to say that it doesn't have the dexterity for it, just for the sake of ease. If that is
Yeah.
all right.
Yes.
And then we'll take that. Oh, nope.
Also, I really love the recharging mechanic that dragons or anything that has a fire breath has.
Yes. Add as a action. That. Remove that. We're going to keep multi-attack. That, remove that. But we are going to change the multi-attack because it has 3. Because all creatures of this level have 3 multi-attacks. And that is why they're horrifying. Oh, no. Put it as the wrong one. Adds an action. Cool. So, we are up to 4.5. You still have 6.5 left to play with.
Do you have anything in mind?
I kinda do.
What do you have in mind? And also, what's the name? You kept me in suspense.
Oh, it's going to be a splice monstrosity.
Perfect. Yes. It's very the hunt
I,
anymore.
I,
I love it.
yeah, it's not even a hunter. It's just a monstrosity.
I love it.
Because I like the idea of this is the ones where they went, we put a few too many things onto this guy. It's not really a hunter anymore. It's just a creature.
It's not smart enough to add any more stuff to itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just a monster. It
So
can't be. It's no longer can be reasoned with.
so what I want to do for this one is I
Mhm.
want to have every single part of it has something monstrous on it. So the arms have been changed to something, the legs have been changed to something, the head has got things on it.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it make it a Frankenstein's monster, but
Yes.
actually horrifying rather than just a reanimated corpse.
Yes.
Which I mean, still pretty horrifying, just not by today's standards. So
I
uh,
agree with that.
hmm, let's take the manticle's tail, I think, because it's got a tail spike.
So that's our attachment. So we can't have wings now, right?
I mean, we could technically have wings; they just don't have to fly very far.
Mm. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Plus, it's a ranged attack because it
Maybe
shoots.
instead of like a fly, it uses more of the wings to bounce
Yeah,
up. So it has like
hover.
a high jump or something.
Oh, there is a high jump thing that we can add on to that. Yeah, that's fine. There's a feat for that,
Because
so we
maybe it's
can.
too chunky to actually fly properly.
Yeah, that's fine. So let's add that as an action.
So it's just got like a huge leap.
Where is it? Just bear with me a second, everyone. I'm looking for a specific feat that is referred to as. Oh, I can never remember exactly what it's called.
Pounce, bound, leap, jump.
Pounce. Pounce is one of them. We could have it pounce on things.
Ooh. Trying to think of
Um,
different allegories for jump,
yeah,
leap.
it's all right. I'll see her in a second. uh, oh, where the hell has it gone? Standing leap. There it is.
Ah.
Yeah, so standing leap, you can make a long jump and a high jump of whatever. So we'll say that it has wings, so it can make a long jump of
60 feet.
yeah, sure, why not?
Because like the normal like fly speed is like 60 feet, but it can't maintain that height. It just like huh, and then comes down.
Yeah, and it can also do a 30-foot standing jump,
Yeah.
high jump.
Jesus.
Cool. Yeah, literally. Again, it's a monstrosity. Cool. So we've got the tail, we've got a jumping thing, we've got a breath weapon. We need to do something for its torso and something for its arms. Something for its legs, sorry.
Do we want to give it multiple legs? Like a spider situation? Or like
I
a
almost want
centaur situation?
I almost kind of wanted to turn it into like an ooze, where it's like a slug.
Yes. No, I like that better.
But it doesn't make sense for it to jump.
Well, no, because it's not jumping, it's like hitting the
Oh,
wings
it's
there.
usually yes, that's a fair point. So
So
hmm,
how are we thinking how this will work logistically? Because if we use like a giant ooze, for example, like it can't really attach itself to an ooze.
yeah, that's why I'm not going to bother with it. Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
mimic? No.
I don't think of a large creature that it could take the legs from and do something with. I
Those are thick legs.
I'm not thinking about the legs.
Oh,
I'm
you
thinking
mean the face?
replacing its skull with this thing.
Oh, that would be.
Like,
That's a good call.
human flesh stretched rhino's skull. Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Again, it's a
boy.
monstrosity, so I'm taking that. We're also gonna give it the charge thing then.
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking of it jumping in the air and just coming down like a fucking missile.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's oh Jesus Christ, no.
It's coming towards us.
It's picking up speed.
It just fucking shoots its arm thing behind it, so it goes even faster downwards. It just has a jet booster.
God, can you imagine? Can you imagine how horrifying this thing would be?
It's constantly screaming and crying because it's in pain.
Kill me!
Can it even speak at this point? Probably not. It might
No,
understand
no.
you.
Yeah, we're definitely taking away its ability to speak.
Ah!
Um,
It still knows how to speak, it just physically can't anymore.
and let's just give it some claws, just because why not? Um, claws. Claws are usually a D6, so that's a short sword equivalent. Short sword and preset.
So we have arms, well, arm, I guess, head, uh, appendages. And we need torso and legs.
No, that's fine. I honestly, I think with the charging and all that kind of stuff is going to legs, and I think for the torso we just say there's got some of the rhino hide built into it, so it's got a high.
Oh, so you don't want to add any more things to it?
No, I think the way we've built it out, it's quite horrifying enough as it is.
That's fair.
um, I mean, it's got a breath weapon, a tail spike. It can gore people and claw them to death. Let's take that out. It understands
But it has no
common.
utility. Me?
I'll you all I want.
A burrow speed. Oh my god.
No, we're not giving it a burrow speed.
Instead of hands and drill.
We're going to make it resistant to
Pain.
non-magical attacks.
It's not that it's resistant, it's just, well, I guess it is resistant because it's done so much stuff to itself. Only things that are real cut hard can actually hurt it.
Exactly. It's going to have frightened immunity.
Oh, that's actually a good thing. Do you want to give it like a werewolf trait where it can only be hurt by magical things? So it's not even resistant, it's just like, no.
No. So like, give it a second. I'll show you why in a moment.
Okay.
This thing's already going to be a chonk as it is.
Mm-hmm. Level 12, what's the party level for that? CR12, what's the party level for that?
What do you think the party level should be?
Okay, so 8.
Let's try an 8.
Oh. Guess. Oh, is it not? Is it 10? 10
two,
is hard. Okay.
two CR points above the player level is hard to deadly.
Hmm.
So if we put this to a 9, it would go immediately to deadly. Oh, no, goes to hard. Okay.
So I'm picturing a rhino, right, standing up on its hind legs. Moved its spine kind of so it can stand up properly.
Yeah.
It has a human hand, and then a snake for its other hand. Uh, and then it's got like, what's the tail look like again?
It's like a barbed tail. It
It's
looks
got
like it looks like a spiked mace
it's got
that it can shoot the horns out of.
it's got like a spiked mace, one like dragon wing and one like a giant eagle wing.
I'm
It
gonna
can't
put
fly because it's too fucking thick, but it can leap really fucking high and come down like a missile.
yes.
Should we give it immunity to fall damage? No.
Yeah, sure.
Can you? Is that a thing you can
Yeah.
do?
Other.
Specifically fall damage? Other, yeah. His legs are too stumpy.
There you go. That was immunity to full damage.
It's greater.
Cool. Spliced monstrosity, 18 armor class with 112 health, but it technically can have 180 health. I'm gonna up that. That's not high enough.
That's not good enough.
It's genuinely not. 204 maximum health. Yeah, that's right. 30 feet of movement. Saving throw, 8 strength, 6 con. It has 18 in strength, 16 in dex, 14 in con, 2 in intelligence, 10 in wisdom, 6 in charisma. Plus 8 to athletics, plus 6 to intimidation. It has resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons, and damage immunity to full damage. It has condition immunity to being frightened. It has a passive perception of 10, and it understands abyssal and common. It has a challenge rating of 12. It can do a legendary action of a standing leap. The Splice Monstrosity's long jump is up to 60 feet, and its high jump is up to 30 feet, with or without a run-in start. Charge. Oh, we need to change that because it's kept the rhinoceros thing on it.
I mean, it's not wrong.
It isn't wrong.
And are we adding like legendary resistances, legendary actions?
Just wanted to check whether that command actually works. Yes, it did.
Nice.
No, so this thing is going to be a monstrosity, but it's not technically intelligent enough to have legendary actions because it's not going to be making decisions. Really, it's just going to be flailing about. Yeah.
You should also change it to chaotic evil.
Chaotic evil implies that it has intention.
It has intent. It wants to kill itself and die. So it attacks literally everything on sight.
Yeah, whereas chaotic neutral is just it's just a danger to itself and everything around it.
That's fair. Every player who's ever picked chaotic neutral.
Yeah. Yes, so charged, if the splice monstrosity moves at least 20 feet straight forward towards a target and then hits it with a gore attack on the same turn, the target takes an extra 9 2d8 bludgeoning damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed a DC 15 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. Multi-attack. Oh, we need to change that because it's taken the Splice Veteran Hunter again.
We should also change the wording on the charge.
What do you want to change it to?
As it has to move straight forward. It has to move towards the target within 20 feet. So it can move in any way it can towards the target.
Yeah,
that be falling or moving. Because it moves straight forward. So I imagine that's moving, running towards it.
Yeah, but moving down is just as entertaining.
I guess, yeah. That makes sense, yeah. Mm,
Yeah, literally. It's immune to fall damage. Why would it not?
yeah, just jumps and boom, jumps and. Well, I guess it doesn't jump. It like what flaps up.
Yeah.
I guess. I can't. I don't think it can even bend its knees anymore.
No. But obviously, once it's up there, it can't make any other weapon attacks, so
Yeah.
it's doing its full turn to do that thing. Plus, it's still a regular +7 to hit, so if they move it out of the way, technically it's just driving its head into them repeatedly.
Yeah.
It's like, this thing is a video game boss.
It is.
Multi-attack. The Splice monstrosity may... goodness gracious me.
It's more how it enters battle. That's the what it does. It also it sets up for the thing of like we push it off a cliff. That means it's dead, right?
Right?
No, no.
No. Not even close. Let's check. We just need that needs to be to a +7. That one can stay the same because that's correct. And that one needs to be to a +9.
Should we up its movement speed?
Yeah, why not? Put it up to 40.
Yeah.
That needs to
It's got like one normal human hand arm
Yeah.
thing. Is it holding anything?
No.
It's holding a
It's
sign saying, "Please help me,
kill me.
kill me. I've made a terrible life decision."
I don't know how my life got here, but I hate every moment of it.
I'm in constant pain.
Do we make this a legendary action?
I think so. So we can
Yeah.
do that every refreshing of a round. Yeah, that's how legendaries work. It can do it once after another person's turn, not its own turn.
Yeah.
And then once it gets to his turn again, or their turn again, it refreshes.
So I'm going to take the recharge. I'm going to put recharge 1 turn instead of legendary action. Legendary 1 to 2 turns.
Yeah. But that doesn't make it like a free action then to do.
Yeah, but that's fine. Again, this thing is meant to be a monstrosity to attack. Honestly, I'll probably push it up to a CR 13 with this, but yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, it's horrifying. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love the idea of just this absolute cacophony of bullshit that's been strapped together. Just like,
And then the
oh well,
snake hand is also crying.
yeah. It's like someone made it. They tried putting it down, realized they couldn't, so just threw it out into the wild because it's safer for them that way. Can you imagine coming across one of these in the woods?
The dark alley. Well, you hear whistling first. You're like, what the fuck is that?
Have you played Sekiro?
I've seen someone play Sekiro.
Have you seen the guy who is in the floating lanterns and dives out of the sky to try and attack you?
Yeah.
I'm just imagining that, just
Mm.
or going Yahoo! Flunk.
Constant crying and screaming with this monster.
Yeah. Unintelligible screaming.
Yeah. It's not a stealthy moi.
Oh no, God no. Stealth hasn't been in its vocabulary since it had a vocabulary.
So what's the lore with this thing? Because I had the lore of it finding monster, killing monster, cutting off monsters apart, putting onto it.
Yeah, so I will, if it's okay with you, I will
Mhm.
tell you that off stream, because that applies to some things for the book that we have been talking about that we haven't quite revealed just yet to the general public. Sorry,
Right.
everyone.
I didn't know I did this.
Secrets.
I'm sorry. This is my potential being a book.
No, that's fine. There's 3 more monsters that I don't have to write off stream.
Please customize your monsters as you will,
Yes, exactly.
because this is just a
Uh,
pick and mix basically as a monster.
cool. I think that's going to be us for the evening. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We're going to go over now. Catch us all on Wednesday. Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.